What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Wednesday. Glad to have everybody along as we get closer and closer to Christmas weekend and closer to the Titans versus the Texans for the second time this season. A Christmas Eve game where the Tundra will be rolling into Nashville over the next couple of days. And the Titans will have the coldest game in Nissan Stadium history coming up on Saturday against the Houston Texans and on a four-game losing streak with a lot of injury questions that continue to pile up with this team. And we're going to talk today about how the Titans should handle Ryan Tannehill's ankle injury. Not how we think they're going to, but what we think they should do with Ryan Tannehill re-injuring his right ankle on Sunday in LA against the Chargers. The second time he's re-injured that ankle. He's also injured his left ankle before throughout this last couple months of this season. So we're going to have a lot to talk about, and Mike Vrabel comments on what he wants to do at quarterback if Ryan Tannehill can go and where he thinks Ryan Tannehill will be. So we'll talk about that and ask you guys, should the Titans start Ryan Tannehill versus the Texans if he's able to play? So we'll go through all that. Then we'll show the laundry list of injury reports that's even longer than the CVS receipt that it's been this season, and ask what sticks out most about the Titans injury report heading into this Texans game. And I'm sure we're going to get to a must-win conversation at some point, whether it's tomorrow or Friday, heading into Saturday game day. And it is Wednesday, which means throwing shade. And Zach, I've got video for my shade, so welcome in. Hope you're having a great start to your Wednesday.
Yeah, ready to get this thing rolling on a shade day. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We've got you covered there. We will tweet out segment by segment our YouTube links on our Twitter handle at A to Z Sports. That's at ATOZ Sports. You need to follow us there on Twitter, and you also need to subscribe to the channel. We got over 10,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 15K. How that happens is you guys subscribe. If you've already subscribed, go ahead and like this video you're watching. If you watch on YouTube, some people watch on YouTube, some people watch on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing on this show. We need you to share the show around so we can pop up in your Facebook friends' news feed. We need to be there. That helps distribute the show. And more people are going to be piling in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. So as you do, please subscribe, please share. We got a lot to talk about on this Wednesday. Let's get this party started.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media, as we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Find links to the show all over our Twitter timeline, segment by segment. Also hit us up on Instagram and TikTok too. I got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out you guys, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process by going to see them in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans. That's better coverage, rates, and service. Learn more about a health plan for you. FBHP.com/ATOZ, and Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers, the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans. If you've been injured in a car wreck, call them for a free case consultation, 800-800-4600. So Zach, because I wasn't on the show on Sunday, what was your initial reaction? We didn't really go over this, but what was your initial emotional reaction when Ryan Tannehill was down holding the ankle? Then he gets the ride from the cart to the locker room. He ends up coming back in the second quarter. But what was going through your head when you saw 17 in that type of pain again in early in that Chargers game?
Well, my mindset, it goes to like how I live my life is don't concentrate on the problem, concentrate on the solution. I was excited that we were going to get to see Malik Willis actually throw the football possibly. And so like that is exactly how my mindset went. And Malik Willis came in for a series. He didn't necessarily throw the ball that much, but we need to see more of Malik Willis because, and this is how my mind went, I know Ryan Tannehill is not the answer for this franchise to get a Super Bowl. So I'm not saying I'm done with him, but I'm done with him, right? Like, so I wanted to see more of Malik Willis. I also understood, and I'm not naive, that Malik Willis was not going to be the solution to win that football game. I knew that Ryan Tannehill would be, so he got carted off. Then they showed the replay of his ankle going like this and his leg going the other way. And I was like, I highly doubt that he's going to come back. I assumed that they were going to go back in there, maybe do x-rays to make sure that you confirm that it's not broken.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that is confirmed, then you probably have a decision to make. Hey, type it up. You can tape it up and go back in there and figure it out tomorrow. Or we can kind of be a little bit more conservative and not. They decided to tape it up after confirming that he wouldn't do any further damage to it. But yeah, my initial reaction is, all right, let's see Malik Willis throw for once. Because I knew he was going to have to throw. It was too early in the game.
Yeah.
And the offense of the Chargers were going to score points. So, the Texans game was different. The Chiefs game was even different, right? Of them getting out to leads. And so that wasn't going to be the case against Los Angeles. That was my initial reaction.
Well, the difference in those two games is because Malik started. Like, you knew going into the game that was going to be the game plan. The Titans were going to handle that. This was like oh no, you get punched in the face early in the boxing match in the first minute of the first round, and now you can't see. So how is that going to work? And so I kind of thought, man, the Titans needed to win that Chargers game, and they need Ryan Tannehill to be able to do that. But Tannehill's toughness is never in question, and he was able to come back in there, and they had an opportunity. They lost it because of several different reasons. We talked about that the last couple of days, and now the Titans are moving forward on a 4-game losing streak after having a 3-game lead in the division. Now the Jags are nipping at their heels, no pun intended for that Tannehill thing, but the Jags just 1 game behind the Tennessee Titans, and the Texans, who are the worst football team in the NFL, are coming to Nashville. And it sets up a situation where Ryan Tannehill's health is very important, but getting a win, I also think, is very important. And I just don't know what to expect with this Titans offense going up against a Texans team that is playing better football over the last couple of weeks. Even though they've lost the last couple of games, they've looked better. And Ryan Tannehill, I thought this was interesting, Zach. Ryan Tannehill hurt his ankle the first time, October 23rd, hosting the Colts. He came out, came back in, finished, the Titans won. Then they go into the week of practice. Ryan Tannehill walked out, no boot, with a tennis shoe, no brace, walked out to the podium, did his regular Wednesday press conference, went back in, did not play that next week against the Texans. The following Wednesday, Ryan Tannehill walks back out, no boot, to the podium for his regular Wednesday press conference, flies to Kansas City, warmed up, did not play against the Chiefs. Yesterday was a Tuesday, but because the game's on a Saturday, yesterday was actually a Wednesday. Ryan Tannehill did not speak at the podium. And that was the Wednesday opportunity. Derrick Henry, who always speaks on Thursday, talked on the Wednesday of the week. So I find that being very interesting when it comes to Ryan Tannehill's status, because he's always talking to the media on Wednesdays.
Well, you have two things. I think the first thing is, you talked about, this is the Mike Vrabel approach to injuries. No news until I'm forced to tell you something, right? He was forced to eventually say that Ryan Tannehill was not going to play, and that happened right before the Kansas City Chiefs game. And I will admit, I got fooled by that before the Texans game of him walking out.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at 90% that he was going to play. I was dead wrong. He didn't make the trip. Now, he also got sick. Now, they asked him afterwards, that did the sickness impede on your playing ability? He said no.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it was probably a complete no, because when you're sick and you're hurt, then that's probably not a good recipe to fly and do all that other stuff. But he didn't play. That shocked me. Now you've re-injured this, and you're in a completely different situation. You have a Texans team that is not like the previous Texans team you faced, and you've got a Titans team that is not like the previous Titans team that was earlier on in the season. They're on a 4-game skid. I do think that their mindset is a little bit shot or shaky, as you could say, is they have to see themselves actually win. And they haven't been able to do that in a month. That's tough on the mindset of your football team. Now you get a lesser opponent that you kind of expect to win. But damn, the Texans have played really extremely close to two playoff teams back to back, the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs. They've lost both of those games, and probably Texans fans are like, a sigh of relief is like, oh, well, we're playing a little bit better, but yes, we're losing, so we can go get Bryce Young with the number 1 overall pick. This is a big week of a decision for the Titans, at least for the next couple of weeks. And unfortunately, the deciding factor of your season is going to be probably on the ankle of Ryan Tannehill when you get a date with the Jags in Duval the last week of the season, like I've always been saying.
That's right. So Mike Vrabel was asked on Monday at his press conference about Ryan Tannehill for this game against the Houston Texans. And this is a two different answers or comments from Mike Vrabel talking about the status of his quarterback and the decision the Titans might have to make later on this week.
Ryan moving around today, and is he kind of starting back at square one as far as rehab and try to get over that?
Yeah, I mean, he'll work, extremely hard to get back and find a way to make the game like he always has. And, again, we're never going to question his toughness or his willingness to get back and help us win.
Malik, and you said he looked the most comfortable he's been. Does that play into your decision-making this week and seeing the strides?
Yeah, I mean, if Ryan's healthy and Ryan can play, Ryan would be our quarterback. But, again, I think Malik has put a lot of work into the show team and trying to play the game and command the huddle and do all the things that we've talked about, how he needs to try to develop during the week when there aren't a lot of reps.
So there's Mike Vrabel from Monday's press conference. Let's go ahead and ask everybody this question. We'll play that one more time here in a second. But should the Titans start Ryan Tannehill versus the Texans if he's able to play? Should the Titans start Ryan Tannehill versus the Texans if he's able to play? We'll get to your comments here in a second on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. But first, let me tell you guys about Hughes & Coleman Injury Lawyers, the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans. If you've been injured in a car wreck, call Hughes & Coleman for a free case consultation. Their phone number, 800-800-4600, as easy as it gets. And they will go help battle and fight against the insurance company to get you all the money you deserve for going through that car accident. So if you've been injured in a car wreck, call Hughes & Coleman for a free case consultation. Once again, the phone number, 800-800-4600, Principal Office, Nashville, Tennessee.
A to Z Sports were powered by BetMGM, our title sponsor. You can see at the bottom of your screen, promo code ATOZ Sports. They, are the king of the sports book. You can download the app in your Apple or Android store right there on your phone. You get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 on pro football. You got pro football peppered throughout the weekend. Saturday and Sunday as the Titans play on Saturday now, but download the app today in your Apple or Android store.
All right, so should the Titans start Ryan Tannehill versus the Texans if he is able to play? Let's hear from Mike Vrabel one more time.
Ryan moving around today, and is he kind of starting back at square one as far as rehab and try to get over that?
Yeah, I mean, he'll work, extremely hard to get back and find a way to make the game like he always has. And, again, we're never going to question his toughness or his willingness to get back and help us win.
Malik, and you said he looked the most comfortable he's been. Does that play into your decision-making this week and seeing the strides?
Yeah, I mean, if Ryan's healthy and Ryan can play, Ryan would be our quarterback. But, again, I think Malik has put a lot of work into the show team and trying to play the game and command the huddle and do all the things that we've talked about, how he needs to try to develop during the week when there aren't a lot of reps.
So Mike Vrabel, if Ryan is healthy and Ryan can play, he's our quarterback. That was the quote there from Mike Vrabel on Monday. Ryan Tannehill did not practice in a walkthrough situation, simulated walkthrough. We'll talk about the full injury report later on in the show today. But Zach, I'll send you to the comment section. What is everybody saying? Should the Titans start Ryan Tannehill versus the Texans if he's able to play, because Mike Vrabel basically said, yeah, if he's able to play, Ryan Tannehill's the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think any coach would say that. But Steven says,
that's the situation.
Hell no. Grim Jim says no. Major says no. No way. Sit him from Nick. No. So there's a string of no's. Roy says yes. We've got a couple of no's. Alejandro says no. Let him heal. No. Save him up from tighten up. Nas says no. No rest. No from Jason. Guy says yes. Antonio says hell no. Let's see. Another no coming in there. Bama Brad says yes. Scott says yes. Philip says yes. Eric says yes. There you go. There's a string of yeses. Dom says yes. Start Malik from Amar. Kyle says nope. A couple of no's coming in from Jason and Ty. Start him from Nate. Deborah says yes. Brandon says no. Jason says no. Richard says no. So a ton of comments of yes and no. I think the majority you could say no. Kick It Into the King production says no. If Tannehill is injured again, you ruin him for 2023. He came back too early from his high ankle sprain, which is usually a 4 to 6 week recovery. So Kick It to the King saying no there. Austin, are you yes or are you no?
Yeah, another comment I want to read before I get to mine. Somebody just did say, Tyler on Facebook says, if the Jags win, then yes, because the Jags play the Jets on Thursday night. So you get that day and a half, awareness of what the Jag situation might be or might not be. How does that impact the playoff picture? Really not that much, if you want to be honest with it. But so my answer, Zach, is no. I don't think there's any way or any reason why Ryan Tannehill should play Saturday against the Texans because of his injury itself, because of the scheduling of what's coming up for the Tennessee Titans over the next, week, because the Titans play on a short week. They travel to Los Angeles. Then you come back home on a short week for a Saturday game. Then you stay home for another quick turnaround for Thursday night against the Cowboys. And I just don't think it's the right thing to play Ryan Tannehill here. Could feasibly, could Ryan Tannehill be in a spot where he could tough it out and play against the Texans? Yeah, I could see that happening. Ryan Tannehill's pretty damn tough. He's come back and finished games where he's gotten hurt twice this year against the Colts and against the Chargers. But I don't think it's worth it at this point. Can the Titans beat the Texans with Malik Willis? We saw it happen the first time. Now, there's other situations and injuries with the Titans team that we'll talk about later on. With this Texans game, it'll be harder, in my opinion, because the Texans are playing better football. But I think the Titans can beat the Texans without Ryan Tannehill this Saturday. So I think it is time to sit Ryan Tannehill for the betterment of Ryan Tannehill and for the betterment of the team long-term.
So I agree with you. There's no way that you should play Ryan Tannehill until Jacksonville week 18.
You're taking it a step further.
Yes. You sit him for 2 weeks. That ankle, look, listen to Mike Vrabel. My key word, and I was kind of waiting because we did some stuff, so I hadn't really reacted to the video. I'm going to stop it right when I want you to concentrate on the video.
Ryan moving around today, and is he kind of starting back at square one as far as rehab and try to get over that?
Yeah, I mean he'll work, extremely hard to get back and find a way to make the game like he always.
Make the game? No, make the game. Now he went on to say if he's healthy, he'll play. Well, yeah, if I'm healthy, I'll do the show, right? Like if I'm sick, I'm not going to be able to, right? So like Vrabel did exactly what Vrabel does, but he also said make the game. Well, he made the Kansas City Chiefs game. He didn't play in it. So like I do not think he will play. I do not think that I would not play him the next 2 weeks. I think this is a opportunity for two things. Look, the Titans are going to win the Super Bowl this year. We've figured that out, right? They're trying to pray to God that they can make a run and get to the divisional round, right? So you find out about Malik Willis it's a high-pressure situation because Malik Willis needs to come out for the first time in front of his home fans. He's never played in Nashville and started the game. So
for me, meaningful snaps in front of the home fans.
You start Malik Willis against the Texans. You get him comfortable. You find out what you have in number 7. That's really what you do over the next 2 weeks. Then you got a primetime game. This is the second primetime game that Malik Willis would, if he does start against the Cowboys, play in. And you do exactly what you did last year. You rest up, and try to get as healthy as possible if you, in fact, have that Week 18 deciding game against the Jags. That's also not a guarantee. If Malik Willis comes out and performs well and beats the Texans and the Jags lose the next 2 games, then it's a moot point. Now you can rest Ryan Tannehill another week because it doesn't matter. And that's because you're not going to improve your seeding.
Yeah, Stanley just said the Titans beat the Texans and Cowboys. Jags lose the Jets. Then you can sit Tannehill to the playoffs, which is exactly kind of what you just said. So
that's what your plan should be.
I do want to get more into that because John asks a question about the division. What happens in the division if the Titans lose the Texans? And then Dom says sitting Tannehill just screams conservative to him. The Titans don't have room to be conservative. I want you to react to that, Zach, in a second. I want you to react to Dom's comment there about the conservative nature that Dom feels sitting Tannehill would do. But first, tell everybody about our great friends at Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to get your next ride. Hey, look, conservative minivan that you've been driving to drop your kids off. No, Dom, you don't want to be conservative. You want to be in style. Full-size SUV, third-row seating, all the bells and whistles, leather interior. That is the Wilson County Hyundai Palisade. The Palisade hooking you up with great fuel efficiency in their SUV. They also have the Sonata, which is a 4-door sedan, the Elantra, smaller SUVs like the Santa Fe and the Tucson. They have your perfect make and model. It's a quick trip down I-40, exit 236. Visit WilsonCountyHyundai.com for their inventory.
Also, download the BetMGM app, and when you do it, use our code ATOZ Sports. You get a risk-free bet on pro football up to $1,000. Now, sitting Ryan Tannehill might hurt the Austin Hooper over streak that I'm on right now with BetMGM, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, download the BetMGM app, and when you use our code ATOZ Sports, you make your first deposit, and that unlocks a risk-free bet on pro football up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued with non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire in 7 days. For problem game sport, call Tennessee Redline 800-889-9789. So going back to the comments to react, Dom said that he feels like sitting Ryan Tannehill screams conservative to Dom. The Titans don't have room to be conservative. So Zach, I'll let you react to that one there from Dom on YouTube.
Well, they're lost 4 straight. What do you mean be conservative? We're about to talk about the laundry list of health. You cannot be, guns a-blazing when everybody's hurt. You have to play things conservative. And especially with your quarterback, look, you've made your own bed. You've lost 4 in a row, and you've lost to teams that you shouldn't have lost to, like the Jags and even the Chargers. But
you've lost games where you've had an opportunity to not lose them.
Yeah, well, even Cincinnati, the first half, the first half, they shouldn't have lost that game. They were at home.
The Eagles game in this 4-game losing streak is the only one that the Titans really didn't have a chance walking into it.
But you have a quarterback who has re-injured his ankle. You have to be conservative with that. So, because he gives you the best opportunity to make it far in the playoffs. It's not Malik Willis. If you really want to give up the season, you put Tannehill on IR and Malik Willis plays the rest of the way. That's not going to happen. So you need to conservatively conserve Ryan Tannehill's energy and health to get him geared up. Here's the situation. It's very, very simple. You've got 3 games left. The Titans have a 1-game lead over the Jaguars because they're 7-7 and the Jags are 6-8, right? So there's 2 games in between that final game against Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Jacksonville sits there. They play the Jets on Thursday night. Then they play the Texans, both away. So look, I think this is such a strange year. The Jags could win both of those games. They could also lose both of those games. They've played so poorly. If the Titans win both of their next 2 games against the Texans and the Cowboys, then and the Jags lose both of their 2 games, they don't even have to play. It's going to be a non-factor. It's going to be a meaningless week 18. But if you split and they go 1-1, 1-1, then the Jags would have the tiebreak over the Titans if they do in fact beat Tennessee in the final week of the season, and they go to the playoffs and backdoor their way into the tournament. So you'd rather have a healthier Ryan Tannehill at the very end of the season to give your team the best shot to do 2 things: win the football game and make the playoffs, and carry some momentum into the playoffs where you're going to be playing the 5th seed. I mean, that's just what it's going to be.
Yeah, and that 5th seed could be the Baltimore Ravens. There could be, the Miami Dolphins. Somebody, who knows who that 5th seed could be. I think the Titans hope that the Ravens, with their own problems, the Ravens are also trying to have the offensive coordinator fired by that fan base too. So I guess let me ask you this, because you just walked through the scenario. And again, the Titans have lost 4 games in a row. So this is a hypothetical situation. If the Titans go 2-0 and the Jags split, what's that mean for week 18?
If the Titans go 2-0,
beat the Titans beat the Texans and the Cowboys to get to 9-7, and the Jags lose one of their next 2, whether it's the Jets or the Texans, what does that mean for week 18?
It's meaningless. It means the Titans make the playoffs. If the Titans beat the Texans and the Cowboys, they can take care of business. What they don't want to happen is if they win both of those games, the Jags win both of their games.
Right. So the Titans are hoping the Jags, really, the Titans have to win both of them for it to matter to see what the Jags do. Yeah. And what's the likeliness of the Titans beating the Texans and the Cowboys with the situation that they're in? It's not going to be
it's
easy.
not likely. The likeliness is, guys, right here, the likeliness is week 18 in Jacksonville is going to be for all the marbles. That is the likeliness. Because the percentage chance of them making the playoffs, I saw this yesterday. The Jags have like a little over 40% chance to make the playoffs, and the Titans are a little over, or right around 60, right? So they have the upper hand right now because they're 1 game ahead, but the Jags have already beaten the Titans, so they would win the tiebreak if they, and it's just worked out this way. It just has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and REKT says the Titans aren't beating the Cowboys. Like, you never know what's going to happen. I feel like nobody expected the Titans to be tied with the Chargers at 14-all with 44 seconds left in that game, but considering all the different injuries the Titans went through that day.
Okay, so here's a scenario. Let's do this. This is actually, I love this. I absolutely love it. It's like when a team gets a new uniform. I just get giddy. So to try to figure out this, what if the Titans beat the Texans and the Jags lose to the Texans? So they both split, right? They're 1-1. The Titans in their division would be 4-1. The the Jags would be 2-3.
So here's where that goes into is week 18.
But it wouldn't matter because
head-to-head.
Yeah, the head-to-head would be the first one. So it doesn't matter if you win or lose. If you split, you're going to come down to it. So that is the likeliness. So what I was trying to figure out is, would divisional, because there's a set of tie breaks, right? Would divisional record matter? No, it wouldn't, because the Jags would have the tie break if they won.
Yeah, so Gino's asking me to read his last comment. So he says, if week 18 is for all the marbles, there is no way the Titans are winning that game. Weak-minded and bad home team. Well, one, Gino, it would be at Jacksonville. So there's where you're factually incorrect. But again, where you think the Titans are adamantly, you're saying they're weak-minded. I don't understand.
I think right now they are.
I mean, are they weak-minded or are they
right
just
now
beat up? I mean, I don't think you can point.
Right now, I think they're weak-minded. So it doesn't mean you can't improve your mind.
Well, what are some reasons? What are some reasons that you could point to that shows that improves? Zach, I'm asking you to prove it, right? This is math class where you've got to show the proof of it. Prove where you pointing at where the Titans are weak-minded.
They lost 4 in a row.
That doesn't
They
mean
can't
that
win
they're
anything.
weak-minded. That doesn't mean they're weak-minded.
Yes, going into a game, they're not confident. When you're not confident, you are lesser-minded. Yes, it's true.
Again,
what do you mean again? There's no again. The only thing again is them losing another game again 4 straight times.
but that doesn't because you lose 4 games in a row doesn't automatically include that means you're weak-minded.
Austin, look, I don't want to screw the pooch, but we'll play Kevin Byard later in the week, and he'll tell you that himself.
He didn't say they're weak-minded.
It's the attitude. It's the mindset. They don't believe right now. It does. They need to get a win to improve their mindset.
I don't think
You can be weak-minded at time and have a good mindset at time. It's a roller coaster of a season.
Sure,
you don't stay the same all 18 weeks.
I don't think
You're too sensitive to the term weak-minded.
Yeah,
don't be sensitive to that. It's
think
just
that's
the state of their mindset right now.
Weak-minded. Calling a football team weak-minded is a massive term to use. That's like calling somebody soft, right? That is an
After
attack.
losing 4 in a row, they are.
But again, calling an athlete soft
Don't be sensitive to it. It is just where they are right now. It doesn't mean that is their identity. I think that's where you're taking that to an extreme or personally. It is just a term of where the state of their football team is right now. It is not an overall identity.
I don't think the Titans are soft. I don't think they're weak-minded. I think they're beat the hell up physically. And
they're 4 in a row. They've gotten their ass beat, like blown out 2 out of the 4 games, and they've lost all 4. And then they just lost a game where they couldn't do anything. They couldn't cover at the end of the game.
I think the Chargers game shows that they're not weak-minded.
What do you mean?
Because they played their asses off against the Chargers with a bunch of practice squad guys, and Ryan Tannehill fought through an injury and did a quarterback sneak with under a minute to go to tie the game. That's what I think. Also,
you're taking weak-minded to a higher extreme.
Okay, that's how I define weak-minded.
And so maybe it's 2 definitions by 2 people.
All right. So we do have some breaking news here when it comes to the Titans at quarterback situation. The Titans have signed a new quarterback. I will tell you who it is, but Zach is going to tell us about Farm Bureau Health Plan.
Well, I'll tell you this, Danny. Zach thinks if you lose, you're soft. If you lose 4 in a row, Danny D,
that doesn't mean you're soft. That doesn't mean you're soft.
You're not playing hard. You're the opposite of that.
Zach, come on, dude. It's not mutually exclusive. Like losing 4 games doesn't automatically mean you're soft. You could be soft and lose 4 games, but it doesn't automatically think that or work that way.
4 games in a row, after you lose 4 in a row, something is disastrously wrong.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're soft.
The way that they've lost them. I mean, they got blown out by 2 out of the 4. They're not in the right state of mind. Again, I wish I could play you the Kevin Byard.
They're just hurt.
That we'll play later.
Well, yeah, all right.
But that defines. We'll do that this week. So, guys, remember this moment in time. Later in the week, we're going to tell you the full mindset of where the leader of the defense essentially thinks that they are. And I think it will prove what I think.
And again, let's see, where did that? Willie says, Austin gives you credit for losing heroically. LOL, no, bro, you lost. No, I'm not talking about the record. I'm not yes, the loss is the loss. I'm just, when you're calling out,
taking the term
when you're calling out somebody's mindset or calling them soft, yeah, I find that to be a very strong statement that is hard to back up unless you're in the room.
Again, it's not all encompassing. When at times you can be mentally weak. At other times you could be mentally strong. You are thinking that it's just like the state of the football team.
That's because Gino called the Titans a weak-minded team.
Right at this very time, they are. They are not in the right state of mind.
All right, and that's fine.
I mean, it's proven.
That's your opinion. I disagree with it. So let's get to this breaking news here. The Titans did sign a new quarterback, but Zach, tell everybody about Farm Bureau Health Plans.
FBHP.com is where to go to get your new health plan. Look, the Titans need a good health plan because they got a laundry list of injuries that they're trying to get back healthy. You can set yourself up to be prepared so you don't have to have a laundry list. And throughout the course of your year, your life, you need to make sure you're protected. Health, dental, and vision, 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. That's fbhp.com/A to Z. I switch, I get better service, better rate, better coverage. I get all three. That's because of Farm Bureau Health Plans of Tennessee.
All right. Also, don't forget, I'll do it quick. It's BetMGM. You download the app, use our code ATOZ Sports, and get a risk-free bet on pro football up to $1,000 with the BetMGM app and code ATOZ Sports. So this report coming in from Adam Schefter, also from Ian Rappaport and others. But here's from Ian Rappaport. With Ryan Tannehill's ankle seriously in doubt to play this week for the Titans have signed quarterback Josh Dobbs off the Lions practice squad per Mike McCartney. Players believe Malik Willis is likely to start. So there's a couple things here. The Titans did sign Kevin Hogan to their practice squad last week after Arthur Smith, better late than never, signed Logan Woodside to the Falcons roster there, which we thought might happen back several months ago. But so the Titans are signing Josh Dobbs to the active roster in order to steal somebody from another team's practice squad. You have to sign them to the active roster. There's another stipulation to that too, Zach, that I find interesting. In order to do that, you have to have that player that you signed from the other practice squad on your active roster for 3 weeks at minimum. Now that's interesting.
I think it's writing on the wall of what they're going to do. It's exactly what I said. Malik Willis is probably going to start the next 2 weeks, and they're going to hope, pray, and see if the ankle can get ready to go in Jacksonville. That's that's why you drafted Malik Willis. You haven't had this situation the last 2 years. Logan Woodside has not had to play because luckily and thankfully, a lot of guys have gotten injured, but Ryan Tannehill hasn't. This year is a different story. And, that is one thing John Robinson did is he set this team up to not have Logan Woodside right now and at least have a guy who can make plays. Look, he needs to be more accurate and be able to throw the football. But I do think this is setting up for the next 2 weeks. Malik Willis, you see what he can do. You see what Todd Downing can draw up for him and see if he can throw the football and see over the line and not just run around like a chicken with his head cut off and actually do the offense, make the reads. If you've heard Mike Vrabel after he's seen Malik play, it is we've got to make sure he's doing the necessary steps to be a quarterback in this league. That's something that it's going to take time. He's got to have experience. Well, here's 2 games where, again, more than likely, you're going to have that Week 18 showdown in Jacksonville. And best believe that week, if it gets to that, I'm going to go pull that clip from the beginning of the season of my ass saying that that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to see that happen. And Malik is going to get some experience. And then you're going to figure out if really 2 weeks is enough, maybe 3 weeks really, is enough for Ryan Tannehill's ankle to be ready to go to play. Yeah. You can play right after you injure it, but when swelling sets in, that's when I think that's the reason why Tannehill didn't show up yesterday.
Right. Yeah. I think the writing was on the wall for Ryan Tannehill, at least against the Texans, when he did not talk to the media and was not scheduled to talk to the media. Robbie Bourne of the Titans sends out a weekly list of the schedule, and it always has the players that are set to talk at the podium in parentheses on that email. Yesterday, for Tuesday, it was just 2 players at the podium, and there was no listed player. It ended up being Derrick Henry a day early and cornerback Roger McCreary. So about Josh Dobbs, what does this mean, I think, right? So once again, to reiterate, signing Josh Dobbs from the Lions practice squad has to be to the active roster, and it has to be for a minimum of 3 weeks on that active roster because you're poaching from another team's practice squad. Those are the NFL rules there. So now Josh Dobbs is on this roster, active roster, for at least the next 3 weeks, the rest of the regular season. So that gives the Titans Malik Willis as the potential starter here, and then Josh Dobbs as the backup, as Ryan Tannehill will probably be inactive against the Texans. And then the same situation for the Cowboys and having Josh Dobbs as the insurance policy for Malik Willis, who have similar skill sets to be able to put something together with a fractured, broken, injured roster, to put something together to have somebody who can make plays with their legs behind an offensive line that is struggling in multiple ways. And then you've at least got this same insurance policy for that Jags game in week 18 if you absolutely have it.
Well, and look, and all of those things are correct. Plus, you bring in essentially somewhat of an NFL journeyman who has been on a lot of different teams. He's had to learn a lot of different offenses. So there's value to that. And what do we know personally about Joshua Dobbs? He's extremely intelligent, right? So doesn't mean that he could be a starting NFL quarterback, but he's extremely intelligent, and you're in a bind. So what you're trying to do is have a guy that you can rely on. God forbid Malik Willis gets hurt. And with his style of play, you never know, right? When you're running around and you're getting actually tackled, whether it's from in the front or from behind, then you get a turned ankle. You got to have a guy step in there, especially of how big these games are down the stretch. If you can win both of these games and Jacksonville doesn't, now you have a meaningless game. You buy yourself 2 weeks if you can do that for Ryan Tannehill. That should be the mindset with these backups.
So again, I think also another wrinkle into this move, who made this signing?
The new general manager,
the interim vice president of player personnel, Ryan Cowden made this move, right? So this is, it's not like that. Ryan Cowden is auditioning for this job right now over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, this is interesting. So Ryan Cowden and Mike Vrabel and the coaching staff saw Kevin Hogan sitting on the practice squad saying, yeah, I don't think Kevin Hogan can survive behind this banged up offensive line. Go get somebody who can move and who can run the same type of thing as Malik Willis. And that is Josh Dobbs. So yes, Josh Dobbs is a Tennessee Titan as of a couple minutes ago via Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, and others being signed to the Titans active roster off of the Lions practice squad. Noah here dropped some lunch money for Sam.
I think anything over $10 are jackpot bucks, because that's your jackpot. If it's under their Sam lunch money, over 10 is a jackpot buck. We got to get this so we don't just go back and forth.
Yeah, so Jack gets the benefit of the bigger money.
Well, because it's jackpot. It all goes into a pool. It all goes to the same place.
So
the check is going to we're going to be brought the check.
So Sam and Jack are it's a tip share. So it's not like it's I get you there. So Noah says on his jackpot money, if Malik plays well, that could be a boost to the morale of this team, but they have to rely on him with a shortage of playmakers. Can't expect the same plan as last week to work. Has to be used as a quarterback, not a glorified running back. So that kind of gets us to our next conversation. And now that we do know that Josh Dobbs is on this team, is that the rest of the injuries, Zach. So we're about to ask a question to everybody here. I'm going to show the injury report here in a second, but what sticks out most about this Titans injury report? What sticks out most about this Titans injury report? Because that list is lengthy, right? You get a lot of did not practices. Now, we do have to understand that asterisk there at the bottom, estimation because a walkthrough was held. So did not practice on Tuesday. Dylan Cole with his ankle injury that he battled through against the Chargers. Dennis Daly was not injury related. Nate Davis, another offensive lineman with his ankle injury. I'll just read through it. Christian Fulton again. Ben Jones, another concussion. Terrence Mitchell got hurt against the Chargers. Radins got hurt against the Chargers, as did Tannehill and Josh Thompson. Then you get the limited guys with Danico Autry trying to work his way back. Trey Avery, Aaron Brewer, Henry, typical week for him. Hooker, NPF, Simmons, Adams, and Burks as a full participant there at the bottom through the concussion protocol. So what sticks out the most from this Tuesday injury report, Zach, are you seeing?
So here, I have a question.
Okay.
When did Ben Jones come back from his concussion?
Oh, let's see. He did not play against the Packers on Thursday night. Did Ben Jones play against the Bengals? I'm going to have to think about that. Give me a second and I'll go find it.
Did he play against the Eagles?
I do think he played. Ben Jones got hurt against the Broncos. That's when his concussion occurred. Against the Bengals, I went to the wrong page here. I think he missed the Packers and the Bengals.
I believe that is correct as well. Did he play against the Eagles?
I'm trying to pull up the his game log for Ben Jones here. So give me a second. I'm getting there.
And here's the other unique part about Ben Jones is because that wants to be my answer, but I'm also a little bit torn because you can't afford another, injury to the offensive line. Your offensive line's already decimated. Is this precautionary, right? So you're not going to practice because you've had a lingering concussion, right?
So Ben Jones, according to Pro Football Reference, played 45 snaps against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
So he only missed that Packers game. And I guess because that was the short Thursday night week, going in after the Broncos game where he got the concussion.
So yeah, I'm going Ben Jones. That's new.
No, I'm sorry. He missed. So I was correct. He missed
the Bengals.
He missed Bengals and game. Packers. So I was right. Yeah, 2 games. Yeah.
And then he played against the Eagles and the Jags, and then the Chargers, and now he's back up on the report.
And that's the crazy thing about Ben Jones. He's got 2 concussions this season, right? Because the Broncos game, he played 100% of the snaps, and then had a concussion on Monday. Then against the Chargers, he played 100% of the snaps and had a concussion on Monday, Tuesday.
Well, Ben Jones is not the type of guy that says, hey, get me out of there. That's just not his personality.
And this is a joke. Ben Jones is the type of guy that does his concussion baseline test a little low so he can fight through it, right? That's a joke there. But Ben Jones is somebody that does everything he could possibly do to stay on the football field.
Yeah, he's a true team guy. I mean, we've seen that before with players, trying to irk it out, but he's getting older. It becomes more serious, Yeah. Then the wives get involved and they're like, look, what are you doing here? And
and knowing that Ben Jones is having a second concussion of the season that he's on the injury report with ahead of a short week followed by another short week, that's not looking good for the Titans center.
Yeah, that's my answer.
So that's what sticks out to you the most?
Yeah.
Is that Ben Jones has another concussion?
Yeah. Yes. That's not good for this team.
Yeah, especially because did you see what the Titans did yesterday as far as transactions go? They signed old Daniel Munyer to the practice squad, who has been a training camp center for the Titans over the last couple off seasons. And
the writing's on the wall.
Yeah. So here's a Philip with Sam's lunch money, the $2 there. The Titans injury report is as long as a restaurant menu. It's looking like a Waffle House sheet with what the Titans have going on.
Yeah, what you can add. Stacked. I don't even know what it all.
Diced.
Let's do this.
How do you do your hash browns?
Yeah. So let's see how many you can get.
All right. I think I'm pretty. I've also hidden the chat, so I'm not cheating here. So let me know when you've got the Waffle House hash brown toppings code names pulled up.
Yeah, I guess code names.
Waffle House hash brown toppings. I don't know.
Your guide to waffle. Okay, here we go.
So I know the terms are covered, smothered, diced, capped. Covered, smothered.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, so here I'm going to tell you how many there are.
Okay.
1. Well, this is a terrible article. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
There's a lot.
8. There's 8.
Yeah, I just.
So what do you have?
I believe diced is onion.
You don't have to name what it is. No, diced is grilled tomatoes. So
damn it! I thought that was sliced.
All I'm trying to do is the term.
All right, covered is cheese, capped is mushrooms, sliced and diced. That's my order right there. That's why I knew those 4 because that's what I do. So I don't. Ham is something that I don't know because I don't eat ham anymore.
All right, here's what you've missed. You're not going to
smoke. Yeah,
country.
Chopped country. That's ham, right?
No, that's sausage gravy poured on top.
Ugh, God.
Topped is prepared with Burt's chili. Wow. Capped, you got right. Peppered, fired jalapenos.
I've done that before.
You got diced. You chunked is ham.
Ham.
Yeah. Covered is cheese. Smothered is onions.
Dang, smothered is onions. What's sliced? Is there no slice?
There's not a slice.
Oh, I just made that up in my head. All right. So
I'm
there you
glad
go.
we went through that.
So what stands out most to me with this injury report is just the offensive line. It's not that Ben Jones has a second concussion. That's serious. But it's the fact that, Dennis Daly was not injury related, but, he's been healthy all season somehow.
That doesn't mean that he's good.
No. He's the only guy that hasn't been injury related at some point this season for the Titans. And NPF with an ankle. That's interesting.
Because he's letting guys go by him. He's taking plays off.
Nate Davis did not practice with that ankle after getting rolled up by Derrick Henry and couldn't finish the game. Then you see Ben Jones with concussion. Then Dylan Radins did not practice with a knee. Then you keep on going down. Aaron Brewer was limited with a rib. And so NPF there with an ankle there. So none of the Titans' top 6 offensive linemen practiced yesterday. Is that right? Nobody? I mean, limited were Brewer and NPF at, left guard, right tackle. But with Ben Jones is not going to play. There's no chance that he plays. So Aaron Brewer is your backup center.
So you got a backup center and a backup quarterback.
And then you're going to have to go with your backup guard to Aaron Brewer is Dylan Radins, who also didn't practice. And he was also trying to beat out your left tackle is no good.
This is disastrous.
It is disastrous.
The Texans, now do you feel a little bit different about the Texans game?
Oh, I think the Titans are going to, I want to go. I'm going to stop myself before I get too ahead. It's just Wednesday. It's just Wednesday. So, I don't feel good about this. And that goes even more towards why Ryan Tannehill should not even dress, should not even try to do anything to play.
No, you're putting him in harm's way.
Yes. And
it's so, not if he, so Mike Vrabel, the results are in, and that's a lie. If he's healthy, he'll play. No, you can't
not
do
behind
that.
that.
You cannot that is, you would never put a man in that position. Besides now a young gun, Malik Willis, they could run around, or Josh Dobbs, who you just picked up.
Well, because those two guys are a lot cheaper.
It's Jacksonville. It's Jacksonville. This is what the season has come down to. Austin, this smells just like last season of just work. And now they get an extra playoff game. This team doesn't need an extra playoff game. Now week 18 is a playoff game. This team is not healthy enough to play an extra playoff game.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find who are the 5 offensive linemen that we think are going to be dressed out and starting on.
I'll let you do that research. We can talk about it later in the week.
That's fine. Well, I had it pulled up, but I can save it. Unless you want to know now.
No, I don't.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, man. That's tough. It's really brutal for the Titans, and that's just unfortunate. And you can't pin this on the strength and conditioning coach for Ben Jones getting 2 concussions in a month and a half. That's just unfortunate. Now, the good thing, right? All of this negativity that we just talked about, the good thing, wide receiver Treylon Burks concussion, full participation. That's a good thing because you need Treylon Burks on this offense to help you put up points. You got to have points. And if Malik Willis is your quarterback on Saturday, then
and they've never played together, really.
No, not much. Well, I mean, there's a touchdown pass in week 2 of the preseason that they've got under their belt, or week 3.
Yeah, but in the regular season, Burks didn't play in the 2 games, and he wasn't playing last week when Malik Willis was in.
No, again, I'm with you, but you at least have to have Malik Willis with a talent like Treylon Burks on the outside to just do something.
Well, he's got to be able to use him. He's got to use him though. That the problem with Willis is that he doesn't use him. He runs
Well,
around. He
he
doesn't
hasn't
throw
had-
the ball as much.
And again, that's something we'll talk about throughout the week, is that in that Mike Vrabel clip that we played earlier in the show about Ryan Tannehill, Mike Vrabel talked about all the work that Malik has put in. We haven't seen Malik since that Sunday night game, December or November 6th, to be able to see what can Malik Willis do with the keys to the car. And what can he do with the keys with a Traylon Burks, with a Chig who has really stepped up, with Austin Hooper that's putting things together. And outside of those three, it's tough, right? So in an offensive line that's completely decimated. So this is going to be a big, I'm not going to judge Malik Willis one way or the other for what he does, but I'm curious to see what he can pull out of his hat.
I mean, how crazy would that be if and this would never happen, but Todd Downing changes the offense and Malik Willis is dynamite. They score 30 points or something the next couple of weeks. And then you got Jacksonville, the decision. And the reason why it won't happen is the offensive line. But if he's playing Lamar Jackson ball, right, where you're just running around, right? And we've seen that work because there's not a lot of tape on Malik Willis. That would be a very interesting scenario.
If you're this is the last thing I'll say before we move on from the topic. If you're the Houston Texans, you play all zone defense against Malik Willis. That's how you're going to stop all this stuff. Is that if you play man, now you allow Malik Willis to go play and make Lamar Jackson type plays, or at least have the opportunity to do that. You have to just sit back and play zone and make Malik go on 12 play drives up and down the field to score points. So again, I'm fascinated. Saturday's game is going to be very interesting to see what happens in this spot. Well, okay. Big jackpot money coming in here from TJ. He says, how many consecutive games did Malik play? Eventually it's going to catch up with this man. Merry Christmas, gentlemen. I don't know who he's talking about there, but we had to read the jackpot money there from TJ. But
no, he's Merry Christmas, gentlemen. It's to the jackpot.
No, appreciate that. Merry Christmas to you there, TJ. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on Saturday. That's for sure.
Yep, that's right.
All right, let's throw some shade, because I've got video from my shade where everybody failed. There was a situation that happened in this video. Not a single person seen or heard in this video did their job well. All right, we'll get to that here in a second. Here throwing shade, so get your shade ready for this Wednesday. But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know where to go to and who to trust. The Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin, they also have satellite clinics too across Williamson County, and they're growing there as well. But they've got specialists who know and how to specialize in all these different type of injuries that happen in life, happen in rec sports, happen in youth sports. So your son or daughter that gets hurt, unfortunately, playing some type of youth or school sport, the Bone and Joint Institute can help them through it and get back to health, to get back to playing the sport they love the most. boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports, powered by BetMGM. Download the app today. Get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 for new users. You got a lot of football on the horizon. New users are hooked up with that promo code ATOZ Sports. Let's get to shit.
Throwing shade at the end of every Wednesday show. What is your shade? Fill it up in the comment section, and Zach and I will read it. Zach, how do you want this to go? Do you want to start? I can start. We can go to some comments to get us off the ground with throwing shade. But what do you feel here?
I'll start because mine's a little bit heavier shade.
Oh, okay. So we need to move on from it after.
Yeah, let's rip the Band-Aid off and move forward.
I like it.
The problem is moving forward is my shade. Mike Leach and Franco Harris have passed away. That means a third is on the way. So shade on this weird, I don't know why it happens, of deaths come in three. But Mike Leach, I saw some clips of Gardner Minshew and people speaking at his funeral, which I enjoyed watching those clips, hearing about Mike Leach's life and how he impacted those people. Franco Harris, I know, impacted a lot of football fans probably a lot of dads, right? That was the era of, big time football, the Steelers era, the Raiders. I mean, the Immaculate Reception. And unfortunately, he passed away at 72. So my shade is on this third person that we do not know that is going to pass away, because that's how things work. And I don't know why that is. I don't, it's like, it's eerie and weird, but that is my shade.
Yeah, and to add to the Franco Harris thing, and I was listening to Ramon Foster on 104.5 The Zone this morning, who's a former Steeler, right? And knows about Franco. The odd timing of this is the Steelers this weekend were going to retire Franco Harris's jersey because it was going to be, and today he passed 2 days prior to the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. And from what Ramon was saying is that there was media appearances and conversations being done, interviews happening with Franco leading up to this over the last week or so.
So it was more sudden. I tried to look. I mean, that's what we do when somebody dies of that nature. You try to say why. We knew a little bit more about Mike Leach because of the hospital stay, but there is some mystery around Franco Harris, because I felt the same thing. I felt like, I'm not saying he was in good health, but like I didn't feel like maybe he was. I didn't think he was dying of a terminal disease or something like that. It just felt sudden.
And 72 is too young. That's Franco. Franco Harris, 72 is too young for something like that. And 61 with Mike Leach is absolutely too young there. So throwing shade here on the show. Noah says TJ is coming after Noah's title as top donator. Dang, bro. So Noah dropping in the Sam lunch money there. More shade here on the show. Jeff saying shade on cancer. A freshman offensive lineman at Ohio State just announced he has bone cancer. That's unfortunate. Absolutely. There when you see, anybody of any age dealing with cancer diagnosis. Jared says shade on Todd Downing. Devin says shaded himself for having a kid who has a birthday a week before Christmas. I mean, that stuff happens, right? Brent says shade on Mike Vrabel for sticking with Todd Downing. Sean says he's sitting at the doctor's office getting his iron infusion. His shade is his body being dumb. Marcus saying the Titans need to go hire the Bone and Joint Institute for all the stuff they've been dealing with this season. So I'm sure there's more shades coming in that I haven't necessarily seen. I did see somebody say, Boogeyman says throwing shade is that we never read his comments. So we apologize for that, for missing out.
We just read your comments.
Yeah, just read your comment. So Zach, my shade, I teased it. Nobody in this video that I'm about to play did their job well. And I talked about this earlier in the week, and I had a take about it that was a general take about what happened in this video, but the details of this video show failure from everyone involved. Let's go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing locker room and media trying to run down Giovanni Bernard.
See, I'll talk to you this week.
Well, you were injured all year.
What have you done for us to talk to you about all year? I talked to you Tuesday. Don't say you're not talking because I didn't talk to you all year.
You were also injured most of the season too.
Relax.
Okay. Can I go to my family that I have outside? And
you
all
can.
Of a sudden now?
Just don't say we didn't talk to you all year.
We just wanted to ask for your perspective on what happened there.
You're involved in one of the biggest plays of the game.
Okay.
Thank you, Drew.
I appreciate your time. We do.
We won't hold you.
We would have talked to you in the season, but also you were injured.
Just tell us what occurred on the punt.
Miscommunication, that's all it was on my part. I take complete fault for that.
Was it a fake?
I don't know. It was complete fault. My fault. That's it.
Is it something the team hasn't practiced
It's
this
all
week?
me. All me. That's something I did wrong, and that's all.
So you
It was
were
all
aware?
on me. Yep, number 25 out there, that was me. I was the one that did it.
But were you aware
It
that
was
it was
just
a
me.
fake?
Yeah, I messed up.
I understand that, but I'm just asking if you knew it was.
I
We
messed
just
up.
didn't know if it was a communication
Yeah, I
breakdown.
messed up.
Thanks, Drew.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, so Giovanni Bernard, they're having to answer questions about the botched fake punt that was a big play in the game. So again, everybody failed in this situation, including Gio, including the reporters, and including the Bucs PR guy in the blue suit and the glasses walking behind Giovanni Bernard, who should have handled and jumped into the situation earlier to figure out how to get this for everybody.
So what should have happened?
Yes, for what? So what should have happened? And what we don't know is what happened before the recording started from the ESPN.com reporter who covers the Bucs. We don't know the initial interaction of when this began, but clearly Gio did not want to talk to the media. The media wanted to talk to Gio because of the involvement of the game, which is what needs to happen. Gio has to answer questions if he played a big role in the outcome of the game. That's how the NFL works. Gio's been in the league for a long time. He knows that. But the reporters then all of a sudden saying, what have you done this season for us to talk to you about? That is bad reporting. You do not make it personal. The continuing to hamper on, you've been hurt all year. You've been hurt all year. We haven't been able to, you've been hurt all year. And then finally, the PR guy about a minute late jumps in and just says, just ask the question. So the PR guy should have stopped it. He was there the entire time. The PR guy should have stopped Gio and said, Gio, we need you to answer these questions. You guys ask your questions and quit chasing and being pushy. Ask your questions, answer the questions, and then you can go to your family. If that would have happened, it would have been a lot smoother. But nobody involved did their job the way it was supposed to be done for that interaction to be normal, because there's dozens of normal interactions between players and media in locker rooms after hard losses, but everybody involved made that video go viral over social media.
Yeah, and look, Giovanni Bernard he didn't want to answer the question. That was obvious, right? Like, that's why he was like, can I go? And then he resorted back to my family, right?
No, you
like,
can't do that.
When you go to live golf, you say, oh, well, it's not about the organization. It's to set my family up, right? I mean, that is something that is always a justification. So he resorted back to that. And then he realized, okay, I'm going to answer the questions. And then he did. I will say this, at least he didn't say no comment. Like, he could have no commented them and really made things uncomfortable. But instead, he fell on the sword and said, look, I was responsible for it. He wasn't going to answer any questions. That was all he was going to say. Right.
Yeah. Look, yeah.
But I get both sides of it. I get him not wanting to do it, but then being forced to do it. And I get the reporter saying, look, we're trying to do our job. You were involved in a massive play that really swung the momentum, or part of a huge momentum swing in the game when they were 17-0 and then lost by 10 plus. And you need to talk about that, right? You need it, whether just what happened, if it is your fault. And we don't get that enough, I feel like, because it goes back to what we said earlier in the week. The perception of media is, I'm out to get you. Get you. I'm here to get you. I'm going to ask that question, make you look like an idiot. And I'm going to get a bunch of clicks because you're going to sound like a fool. And my boss is going to love it because I got the story. That is the perception of what media is. And look, it wasn't a good look for both sides. I agree with you. The reporters being like hounds and well, you haven't played. Like, that doesn't sound real good.
The reporter made it petty. The reporter, by saying, what have you done this year for us to need to talk to you, is where it really went over the line. And that reporter has since come out and said that he was wrong in that situation, was going to apologize to Gio face-to-face in his next opportunity to see Giovanni Bernard at the Bucs facility. And you hope that happens, because it needs to. But everybody failed. Gio should have understood the situation. Do not use your family as your way out. Your family cannot be your getaway.
Nobody cares.
Yeah,
everybody's got one. Or at least somebody's got one outside, or they do have one. But you go outside, yeah, everybody wants to do that. Everybody wants to go kiss their wife and hug their kids, right? Like, but you have a responsibility. And I think it goes to the point, he's old. He's been in this league long enough.
Yeah, he knows. And Giovanni Bernard's been a really productive player in the NFL, right? Like, for a long time. He knows what's up.
And now he's a backup. He plays a different role, but he impacted the game negatively.
Yeah.
I think his is like, look, if he would have scored a touchdown and positively impacted the game, he would have wanted to answer some questions, right?
Yeah. And look, players have 10-minute cool-off periods where they can get the heck out of there. I was talking to Buck about this yesterday, And he was talking about the Raiders game when Terrence Mitchell first came to the Titans and was there for like 2 days and then allowed Mac Hollins to look like Terrell Owens for the Raiders. Terrence Mitchell, Buck said, had his eye black on when he walked out of the locker room. Like, he didn't even wait to shower. Like, he was getting there so fast. Even after the Titans won the game, he didn't want to deal with it. So again, Gio should have been better. The media was absolutely wrong in how they approached it and how it dissolved. And the Bucks PR person should have handled that and stepped in a lot sooner, because all 3 parts doing their job poorly allows that video to have 9 million views on Twitter.
All right, before we get out of here, Big Ten Jeff, this does need to be said. The Terry McLaurin video of him obviously saying on and confirming with the ref, and then the ref throwing a penalty.
So did you see Nate Washington's response to this?
No.
So Nate Washington said that everybody that's reacting about the ref is wrong. McLaurin was wrong. And Nate walked through a Twitter thread, former Titans receiver who knows a lot about lining up on the line of scrimmage or off the line of scrimmage, knows that there are certain signals and that Terry did not move up enough. And when he double checked with the ref pointed down. Down means you have to continue to move up. The referee pointing down shows that you are not where you need to be, not the you're good sign. And Terry, if you look at it, did not turn his helmet to see the second down motion by the referee. So the referee did what he was supposed to do. It's not a opinion call. It's a pre-snap penalty. It's by the book. You're either on the line of scrimmage, you're not. The defender either lines up in the neutral zone or they're not. It's a false start or it's not. And that was so Nate, I agreed with you until Nate explained it.
I didn't know that. I do think that there's probably grace, just like anything, of refs saying, "Hey, we're not going to call that you're close enough," right? So it is a discretionary. So I disagree that it is not just black and white, because I do think there's a human element to it. But I did not know that, the communication, and I think that is valuable in this situation.
It's communication, right?
Well, the ref cannot tell the player exactly where to line up.
But it's about the okay
responsibility.
It's about the okay.
And so McLaurin didn't see that.
And again, high school's high school. But when it comes to lining up on the line of scrimmage or off the line, I feel like my experience works.
Well, like and I don't know this. Big Ten Jeff is reporting as Ohio State guy, but Terry said that the ref verbally said that he was on. If that was the case, then it's a different story.
And then now we're getting into a he said situation. But there has to be an acknowledgement of everybody's good here when you're either on or off. And I've been through that a lot of times. But it's a simple, I'm on, am I good? Yes, okay, great. And that's how it goes. So where Terry McLaurin said that or not, it happened. And Terry McLaurin has to understand that he was lined up 2 yards back initially. So that's on him. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, that'll do it for this Wednesday show. We will see you guys tomorrow on a Thursday. We'll learn more about the Titans injury situation. They do have media availability again today. So we'll see if Sam Phelan gets some good stuff there at St. Thomas Sports Park. So check out our YouTube channel, our Instagram, our Facebook, everywhere, TikTok, for more Titans practice coverage throughout the day. Buck Rising will be live tonight, A to Z Sports Primetime. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow morning on a Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate it as always.